All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Sport webinar. Today's date is January 22nd, 2018. This is a Monday night webinar, and the title of tonight's webinar is Wait for the Trade to Come to You. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar, other webinars we have, our live trading room, or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? If not, we're going to get started. All right, now tonight's webinar, we've had this webinar before, but I'm going to put a little bit more of a slant to it, very possibly tonight. Wait for the trade to come to you. How many would you say of you out there don't wait for the trade, and you usually end up getting on the wrong side too often, and you get like a full stop out? Anybody? I won't mention any names. That's never what we're about. There you go. Okay. Trying to break that habit. I understand that. Yes, too often. Used to, but not now. Good. All right. There's a lot of them coming in, though, that are saying the same thing. Okay. And it is really important, until you get really good at trading, you want to stay on the right side of the trade. Okay. Watch for the retracements after a thrust, but always stay on the right side of the trade. Okay. It's extremely important. Now, the one thing that I would mention to everybody tonight is, if you've been used to using some of the indicators that are out there, try to stop that, because you're paralyzing yourself with paralysis by analysis, because the markets move in thrust and retrace motions. Okay. And no matter what they do, it's going to always be that way, because they're going to have to thrust up and they're going to have to pull back. They're going to have to thrust up and they're going to have to pull back. And some of these indicators, for instance, let's say that you were using, I don't know, like stochastics or fast stochastics or, slow stochastics or whatever. You see what I'm getting at? When do you really take that trade, and what kind of stop do you put on it? RSI, same thing. CCI, when is it overbought or oversold? Okay, but you can tell by looking at our product, by the way we've designed it, exactly what the trade should do. Okay, now when I said should do, that means that occasionally you're going to be getting into like a trend change, to give an example, and you're going to have to then wait for the same thing, the thrust and the retrace. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and go to a chart. Okay, I'm going to pause you for just a second. Oh, let's go to this first. I forgot about this. We're going to go ahead and go over this first. All right, I went over this a couple of weeks ago. Okay, if you're not drawing on your charts, you're probably not making money on your trades. Okay, there's so much money to be made in markets that it's just absolutely unreal, but you have to draw on your charts, because if you can see where they should come and hit their head, you can get in at the best spots possible. Okay, first of all, you have to determine if you are trending or chopping, and simply draw horizontal lines and trend lines. It's real easy. We show how to do that in our webinars. You must know what the minor trend, the secondary trend, the medium trend, and the longer term trend are. We've got an indicator for that. You need to know what the trend is on the left and on the right. And I'm going to show you that tonight, because there's a left and there's a right. Obviously, you got a left hand and a right hand, right? Absolutely. And there's left hand trends, and there's right hand. Okay? So be sure and draw trend lines, horizontal lines, wedges, and boxes on your charts. Use our bands for continuation trends. Real key right here, if you miss a thrust, wait for the retrace or minor lightning breakouts with very tight stops. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about there, okay? Because you don't want to miss, let's say that you missed, you stepped away for a cup of coffee and NQ starts going up 30 ticks, and you think, wow, I'm not going to get in this for a while. And that's probably true, right? What if it goes up 100 ticks? But you can still take some of those little breaks like that. I'll show you how to do that. All right. Use lightning 1 or 2 as your minor breakouts and retraces. Use lightning 3 as your medium trend and watch for breakouts and retraces. And then, of course, use our tools to see the clear trade setups. And then use our object trader strategy to make the trade using the object types. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to a chart. Okay. And I am going to show you a chart here. Okay. Now, a real quick analysis of this without looking at my power trend, which I just showed. What's the trend of this chart? Anybody? And we won't grade anybody. We won't. Yeah, exactly. Okay. And if you've been with us long enough, you know that obviously a trend is uptrend is higher lows and higher highs and vice versa for a short trend, right? But look at this little meter that we've got. See there? It says that our power trend 3 and 4 is long. It's literally telling you, do you really want to short me? You know, even when you get under midband, to give an example, and I know we do a lot of those at the open, but keep in mind, midband is pretty much where prices suck back to. You know, it's like a vacuum. It just, you know, they'll thrust up above it and they'll pull back into it. So if you take these little box breakout trades at the wrong time of the day, you're going to end up having to have a 15 tick stop. What if you did that with 2 contracts on oil? That's $300. What if you did that with 4 contracts on YM or NQ? That's $300, right? Okay. So be sure to, you know, watch for that type of thing, because, you know, where you want to get in, like on a long, to give an example, is at the bottom, not necessarily at the midband. Now at the open, keep in mind, and this is what we teach a lot, at the open of the markets, we're pretty much boxing in at midbands, at phantoms and stuff like that. Okay. But there's times of a day that that type of trading will not work. And the tighter the little consolidation, the better they are. And you'll be able to tell it if a bar goes up, you know, another bar goes up and another bar goes up and then bars go down. You've got about a 12 tick range already, right? Okay. So what you're looking at is more those really tight little ranges for the little breakout trade. Okay. Now we've determined that the trend is up, right? Well, we've got a little tool on here called Lightning 3, and it's right here too. See the power meter 3 right there? This will draw it by simply holding in my control key, and you can clearly tell that's an uptrend, right? Now, at one time, it did do a pull down, a retrace, and barely broke this swing. So that's Lightning 3 at the time would have gone red. But if you look to the left to trade the right and draw your lines, like so, did that swing take out that swing? That was your identified swing on the left. So wouldn't that be a perfect area to have done something like this, the way we teach it? Box it in and off she went. Because I'm going to show you how this works, because we called some trades in real time today. And if you were in the room today, you heard them, and you know that we can get in these trades at a proper spot. Okay. Now, let me go over for people that are probably new to us, you know, or on trial or something like that, because we get, you know, all kinds of trials during the week and things like that. I want to show something here just real quick. And this is your 3 trends. Now, if you've seen this, you know, 20 or 30 times, just bear with it, because it's amazing what you can actually see if you just kind of tune your eyes to it. Okay. Because this was like a real trend. This was probably a year ago or something like that I did this little chart. But this was actually a real trend, you know, and what I did is I then just superimposed onto a chart so people could see how trend 1, trend 2, and trend 3 would do. Okay. And the most important thing you can take away from trading with the trend is watch this trend for your overall trend. Watch this trend for your really fast movements. You know, for instance, what if you saw this thrust and you wanted to get in on a retrace? Okay, let's just draw on it real quick. Let's see, let's get a little thinner pencil. And let's say that you saw this and you saw this. Well, couldn't you draw a line and pretty much know that a trend line would get you in that trade right there? And that's what we do. We continue or box it in. You know, what if you box it in like this, for instance? I'm not very good at drawing like that, but you see the picture of it. See how that pulls up, pulls back? Okay. Now, when you get in a trade, you got to know where your stop is, and your stop doesn't have to be, 15 or 20 ticks, because your stop, if you got in this trade right here, is not down here. It's under here. Okay. And that's where, if you got in on this little trade right here, this little breakout trade, your stop is right under here, because you expect it to do that little thrust, little retrace, little thrust, little retrace, little thrust, little retrace, and so on. Okay. And that's what they do. That's kind of when we named our company 9 years ago, Viper Trading Systems, was pretty much because that's what the markets look like. Doesn't that look like something familiar to you? Now, you hate to be, we don't want to be known as a snake, or something like that, because people don't like snakes. But it is a snake, isn't it? Well, we came up with a better term a few years ago, because with this doesn't look like a snake, does it? But does it look like that? It looks like lightning, doesn't it? That's why, since then, we've pretty much keyed everything to lightning, because that's what it looks like. It looks like a zigzag type lightning, doesn't it? Okay. So knowing this, what if you walked in the room right now and you had taken this trade right here? Now, keep in mind that's not a straight line, but it's as close as I can get with this cursor. Wouldn't your stop just be under here? Now, somebody says, well, how many ticks is that? Well, on this one, it would have been a whole lot less, wouldn't it? Because what if you would have gotten in here? Wouldn't your stop have been here? See there? So is that bigger than this? And the answer is yes. So when people ask me and say, well, what's your stop on that? Well, it depends where lightning is. Because when you look at your charts, you're going to find out that when they break micro swings, they're going to go down and check those larger swings. Okay? To give an example, if this was to start heading down, okay, this could head down all the way into even here, and this could still be an uptrend. Everybody see that? Now, that doesn't mean that we can't short this, because let's say, for instance, it does this, and it does that, and it starts breaking down. Could you short that? And the answer is yes. Your stop would have to be there. Okay? And if it's real close to a swing, I even put it at the swing like that. Okay? Because we don't, obviously on this, if you were to short this here, that could be nothing but a fake, and then they could take off too. But usually when they break micro swings, they go down and they check these, like this area here, and possibly even in this area down here, like for a sweet spot to jump in or something. Okay? And I'm going to show you that on some charts. And if you were in the room today, you probably didn't hear short calls on NQ from me at all, right? Because could you short it? Yes. But keep in mind that if you go against the trend, what normally happens? You get a few ticks, you'll think, wow, this thing's going to head down, I'm going to get 30 ticks. And what does it do? It sees the next level of support, it's a higher low, and it bounces quicker than you can get out a lot of times. Exactly. Strong uptrends. It's super, super important to see this type of thing, because in real time, this does this. This is not fake stuff right here. This is actually the way the markets work. Okay? So let's go to a chart. And you've already guessed what the trend was, but we've also got indicators too. By the way, I'm just using NQ tonight because I want to really teach how to see some of these trade pullbacks. Okay? But I'm going to show you something too. We've got tools for you. For instance, if you didn't trust this right here, then maybe you should trust this right here. See that mid band? That's not a downtrend. Higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. See how that goes? Okay. So with our indicators and everything, you can definitely tell where the trend is. Okay, so let's go to the actual chart. And let's see, when you look left, are you looking at the start of the instrument, example RTY, looking at the low? No, never. Lewis, on your question there, what we're looking at on the left is just simply, let me go back and show you here real quick, because these webinars are for, any questions, okay? What you're looking at when you look to the left to trade the right, let me get rid of this one here too, and we'll go back to our little, let me just take this one down and I'm gonna put it back up because that way it's not drawn on. Okay, let me show you here. When we say look to the left to trade the right, okay, if this, say for instance, was starting to head down, just to give an example, let's just go over something here real quick. I'm going to put this a little bit thinner again, something like that. Okay, let's say that you were looking at this right here, okay, and you started, or let's look at this one versus this one. This is minor, but let's say that you saw this happening in real time. It comes down, it goes back up, and then it breaks this little swing right here. Now this is the right side, and right now on the right side of the chart, this would be a downtrend, a high, a low, a lower high, and a lower low, right? But on the left-hand side, it's still an uptrend. And that's extremely important, because what's the definition of an uptrend? Higher lows and higher highs. So what if you shorted this here and that was only 4 ticks down to there? Wouldn't you expect it to do that instead? And the answer is yes on that. So that's why you look to the left to trade the right. Okay? Because, for instance, if you had a crystal ball and you knew this was the top and you could short it, then obviously from here to here would be a pretty decent little trade. But again, with higher lows and higher highs, wouldn't it more than likely hit its head, say through here, or maybe even through here, and then bounce? See, that's why we look to the left to trade the right. To me, looking at this chart right here, let me just do this one more time. Looking at this chart, bear with me 1 second. We'll go ahead and do that one more time. All right, looking at this chart right here, for instance, to me, this is not even changing trends until it takes that out. Okay? Now, on this chart, it's not really changing trends until it takes this out, but then you've got what we call a secondary swing that's really close. You see what I mean? Now, you can go ahead and do, like, for instance, trend line trades. Wow, that was a terrible line. Underneath your lows and short those, keeping in mind that, they could just barely come through your line and pop again. Okay? But looking to the left to trade the right is super important. Just always make sure that on your left side of your chart, you're also in that same trend that you're trading. Unless you know for sure that you're at let's say that there's a real resistance level over here and that's there. And if it even pulls, say, through the line and then back down through it, you're going to short it. That's a different story. Okay? But keep in mind, you'd have to put your stop right there, just on top of that where it kind of bipped up through and came back down. That's if you're looking, like over to the left to see a larger swing. I think I'll be able to show some of that today, as a matter of fact, on NQ. Okay. Any questions on that? Anybody? Lewis, anybody? Always just look to the left to trade the right. And I can tell you this, that more than likely you'll change your trading in a big way. Okay. So with all that in mind, let's just look at this chart. All right. Now we have a high, we have a low, we have a higher high. Where's our identified swing on this chart? Anybody? It's right there. Is this low lower than this low? And the answer is no. See how sometimes they just literally come almost right down to them, but it's still a higher high, a higher low? Now, does this mean that if you're a very astute trader and you saw this happening in real time, let's say that this was some type of a resistance area, and it looks like it was. See where it kind of broke down over the weekend? Could you have shorted that? Well, possibly. There is a swing right across there. See it right there? That's what I was talking about. If they hit resistance and roll over, is that a risky trade though? Absolutely, because what if it just barely came down and then just shot right through it? So isn't it best to actually stay with the particular trend? This is the exact chart we were showing just a minute ago, right here. This is a live chart. Okay, so you see you have a low, a high, higher low. You do not know that's a higher low until it takes out this swing right here. And it didn't. See how it just hit it, comes back, but you still got a higher low again. See it? See it right there, higher low, and then you did get a higher high. So where's your identified swing? Discount this because we haven't even gotten here yet. Okay, let's just pretend we're right here. Where's your identified swing now? Well, it's right here at this, well, that's hard to see, isn't it? Let me fix it. Isn't that your identified swing? So if you were looking at this and you're saying, okay, Gary, and my trading experience and reading books and everything else, I'm talking about you as a trader, always tells me that I'm looking for higher lows and higher highs for an uptrend, then why would you really want to short this unless you're a scalper? Because the overall trend is still up. You have a swing here, swing here. Is this your identified swing as we speak right now? And the answer is yes, right? And it never took out this swing. Okay? So as a trader, what we've got to do then is we've got to wait for the thrust and the pullback, right? We just got to do that. But we know basically where we know that it can't go under if we're going to still head up. Everybody see that? Okay? So let's take the trading to, like 8:30 in the morning. You want to do that? Let's just fast forward this thing. Matter of fact, I think it is already there. Let's go ahead and draw our lightning 2. See if we got any lightning 2. Sure do. Okay, that's our lightning 2 right there. All right, so diagnosing this chart right here, and you see this right here, right? What do you think more than likely is going to happen since you have a low and a high? Don't you expect a higher low? Okay, so let's draw on our chart and see if we can. We know we're going to be, very possibly in this little box. We could even be like at this little area right here. Let's draw another box. And let's just see what happens to this trade. And I'm going to go ahead and make it over here like this. And let's watch it. Okay, and let's see. I'm going to do this one always on top, so it'll stay on top for us. All right, so it's 7, it's 8-ish, it's 8:20, right? It's 8:20 in the morning. Okay, the smartest thing you can do with NQ is wait at least until right, I have to move this to get to it, right here. You want to wait till at least like 8:32. That's pretty much minimum you want to wait, okay? Because if you jump in right at the open, they football that thing all over the place, okay? So we've got our lines drawn on our chart. Let's go ahead and draw on this one too. I'm going to have to move this like that so I can have my lines. There we go. All right, so I'm going to draw a line here. Now I know that if they take this out, we could head down. But I know if they don't take this out, we could head up, right? Because we already diagnosed our chart. We've got a high, a low, a higher high. So that establishes that low right there. Okay, we know that's our low. So until they take that out. Could you actually, for instance, if you saw this break this little support area here, for instance, come back and kiss it exactly like it's doing right there and roll over? Sure, you can scalp those. We do that all the time in the room. Okay, but keep in mind that what you're wanting to look at as a trader, though, okay, is getting the best trades that really make you money, not these little old, 5, 7, 8 tick trades. Because if you do an 8 tick trade, let's say you do one contract, that's $40. Okay, if you do 2 contracts, it's 80. But how many of those are you going to do bad before you get a decent one? But if you stay with the overall trend, I think you're going to find out that it can be pretty rewarding. Okay, let's see if we can get in something. We'll go ahead and get this out of the way. I'll show it in a minute. It's live, so it's actually going to print down here or whatever, but I'm going to get it over the side for now so we can watch the real thing. And let's just watch this and see. Now, don't you have a lightning swing like right across here now? We're just looking to see if we can get in this thing. It's 8:17 though. We're not really interested in getting anything yet. We're just watching. Now, this is a box that we draw at 8 a.m. So our people did short this today. But if you remember right, if you were in the room today, I told them to protect some coin right down here because it was going to bounce off of it. See how it did? Higher low. Okay. Now, real quick, I'm going to stop this. Did you notice this went to magenta? That's one thing I would highly recommend that you watch very carefully and always look at your overall trend. Because even though this is more than likely going to be a decent little trade to the downside, what's our overall trend right now? Our overall trend is still a high, a low, a higher high, and a higher low so far. Now, could we short this, for instance, at mid-band and try to get a little 10-tick trade? Probably. So let's see if it would. Let's just pretend we're going to short this right in through here if that bar closes. Let's just see if we can get 10 ticks. There you go. All right, notice that you got your 10 ticks, didn't you? See there? Okay. Now, if you were looking at this in real time, notice how NQ moves fairly quickly. That was the open of the market. Okay. Now, if I were trading this without watching like gold or something like that, I would be watching this. Matter of fact, I'd be taking a trade right there when that thing popped off that line. See it? And we called that in the room this morning. See how it came down exactly to my line? Wait for the trade to come to you. Okay, but that's a fairly risky trade because what if it would have just plowed through it? And it could have, right? Okay, but watch it and see if you don't get a little thrust and a little pullback, or if you break this swing right here, more than likely you're just going to head up. Okay, see how that swing right there? Still not ready to go up just yet. There's another resistance kiss rollover. And let's watch lightning and see if we can get in a trade. There, by the way, is 832. Now, that's pretty much where I like to look, to be looking at getting in a trade. And I like to watch my lightning to give an example. Okay, let's watch it and see. Just keep an eye on it. Okay, there's a thrust retrace. That's not an identified swing yet. That might be the identified swing now. We'll see. High, low, lower, high. Okay, so that little trade worked out too, right? That's a little resistance type kiss. Now watch and see if you can get in this thing if it's going to decide to pop up. We're still expecting it to go up. See there? There's your line. Now let's go ahead and put Object Trader on this real quick. Let's see how many we've got. 3. Let's just do as many as 5, but not 5. That's just saying that that's the most we can do. Okay. And let's go ahead and get ready to see if we can get a trade. I would have already gotten it, by the way, but let's just wait. Come on, NQ, don't lock up. There's a little lightning swing right there, by the way. Let's go ahead and see if we can get in this thing. Low, high, higher, low. So if this is broken, that would be a lightning break. Let's go ahead and do 2 contracts. Okay, and where's our target on this trade, by the way? Well, look to the left always to trade the right. Let's see if we can get something here. Now notice, though, that this did barely take out your swing. That's one thing I want everybody to be careful of at the up. There we go. We just got a trade. All right. I want everybody to realize at the open, this is what they do a lot of times. They'll barely take out a previous support level that's identified. Okay. They even checked this one over here to the left is what they actually did. See there? Okay. So be careful going against the trend. Okay. Because still, to me, the overall trend is still up. Okay. Even though this background is red and everything else, because the whole thing is, let's just go right up here. And let's go right up here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put our stop with lightning. See, the lightning is green right now. I'm going to go ahead and do lightning short if we happen to get a, not short, but just take me out of the trade if we happen to get a lightning to the downside. So far it's still okay, isn't it? There we go. We're getting a little bit of money. Always look to the left to trade the right, right? Now, if that gets a lightning red, I'm going to be out of this trade, but I will get back in it if we get another lightning to the upside. See how lightning's still green? Now, this is your micro lightning. Now, if that actually closes down, this is going to get me out of the trade. So that wasn't much of a trade if it closes down. We didn't close down. We're still okay. See how lightning works? Might get a little bit of a trade after all. We'll see. That's where I'd put a target if I had, well, we do have 2, so we'll put a target right there. Everybody see what we're talking about? Looking to the left to trade the right? There we go. You just got a target. All right, now watch your lightning just in case because it just hit resistance. If it takes out that right there, lightning will change to red. If it pops up a little bit, you could even be up in here. We're going to find out. I didn't want to move my stop. I want to do it by lightning. Okay, now looking to the left, see how I've got a swing here? We haven't taken that out yet, have we? So that actually means that more than likely we're going to pull back a little bit, very possibly, before we take this out. But aren't we still in an uptrend? Okay, we're out. Our lightning went red. Okay, now let's see if we can go back in. We're going to do it the same way, except I'm going to draw it for you instead. Let's just draw it so you can see it. You have a thrust down, a little retrace. We don't know if it's going to go down from here, but we're drawing it, aren't we? Went a little higher. Let's see. Went there. If it goes on above, it'll be lightning to the upside, but we're still out. We got to wait for a retrace, right? There we go. Just going to draw it, just like lightning would draw it, but I'm trying to draw it for you in real time. So it'll train your eyes better than just splattering it on there. And by the way, if you're a gutsy trader, this is what we call a phantom trade. So you could actually do your PM trade right underneath here. This is your lightning trade right here. And if it goes up higher, it's going to be right here. But I'm going to short that if it does break it. But since we're in a long trend, I'm going to only go for like 10 ticks, because if they break micro, they'll go down and check medium. Okay, so let's see if we can get that. Looking to the left to trade the right, right? By the way, this is why at the open, you know, some people get whipped around. You got to really watch NQ, because see, NQ's heading up, lightning's still heading up so far. Now lightning is right here. Is this going to go ahead and break up? Well, it might. We're going to find out here in just a minute. That's your initial 5 minutes of the market. Now, by the way, you can also, instead of using lightning 1, see where we got taken out way back in here, you can use lightning 2 instead, and you won't get taken out so easily. So, but let's see if we can get any kind of a retrace and get back in this thing. We got 145 bucks. All right, looking to the left to trade the right. Now let me ask somebody, if you were looking at this chart and you see your swings on your charts, drawing your charts, well, first off, you want to look for mid-band. That's important, okay? Because mid-band is a good area for them to come down to. All right, so looking to the left to trade the right, we're going to see if we can get a little mid-band trade. Could we short this on a break where that's actually like a little support area? We can try it. Somebody's saying, let's go for it. Let's go for it. If it goes below the line. Now that's just a touch below, so you got to be careful with just a touch. Okay, close would have been a lot better. Let's see if it works. And I'd put my stop just above that swing. It's not really a swing, but it's third candle back, and that's pretty good usually. Okay, so we got almost 200 now. Well, not quite now. It's back to 140. Let's see if we get this trade. Now, what did I just trade just then? Did I look to the left to trade the right? Yes. Because on the left side, that is what we call the micro support. Okay? Now, that is a risky trade. Not so much on NQ, because NQ, when they break your micros, they usually go down and check deeper. And it looks like we got our target. Okay, now let's look to the left to trade the right. We've got a swing right across here. We've got a swing right across here. Let's see, let's draw. Right here is the first one, right there. Thrust, retrace, thrust. Yep, that's one. And we can't take out that swing right there if we're going to continue heading up. And I'm going to buy it if it breaks lightning 1. Now, is there a reason for me to go short yet? Anybody? Take a poll of the team. Is there any reason for me to go short on this yet? No. No. Could we have shorted it way up there? We did. Okay. But is there any reason for me to go short on this trade at this time? And the answer is actually no. And there we go. We just got us a trade. And I've only got the one target. Sorry about that. But what can we do, everyone, if you're looking to the left to trade the right? See your little thrust, retrace, thrust? Isn't this support right here? Could you actually add if it takes out that line back to the upside? Let's watch and see. Is it going to take us out? Well, it's not a short yet. That went above my line, so I'm gonna go ahead and take those 4. Now I gave up 150 bucks because with 4 contracts, you're going to give up some money if they pull against you. And I'm going to not put this. I'm going to put exit on close. Let's see if that support holds right there. See where my stop is? Right at the swing. It held. That was close. That was really close. NQ does that a lot. Okay, what if you weren't even in this trade right now? Can anybody see another one? I'll show you another one. Let's just go for it. All right, we got a thrust, retrace, thrust. So we've got a swing right across here. Wouldn't you think that more than likely, if this breaks above here, that it'll come back and kiss that line? And the answer to that is an absolute yes. Watch and see if it doesn't. Let's just say you're not even in a trade at all. Right there's our swing. There's my trade. See it? Now, if this didn't turn out to be my trade, my stop would be right under here, wouldn't it? Because I don't know for sure if that's going to be my trade, but it is holding support. See it? Held my line. And that's what we as traders have to do, okay? Now, keep in mind, let's get this out of the way so I can talk. All right, we've got 2 on. Let's go ahead and do another set if stealth gets hit. See, we've got a red stealth, but we haven't got a green stealth yet. We'll add 2 if we get a stealth green. Watch that total right here, and you'll see it when it hits it. There it is right there. Green stealth showed up. Okay? Now my stop would need to be right under here, exit on close. For right now. Okay? What if you missed this trade? Anybody? Does anybody know where the next trade is on this chart? Because if you've traded the way we've taught for years, you can actually see that next trade. Now that's judging with the fact that we don't go deeper. In other words, what we're expecting is a thrust and a pullback. Okay? But I like to draw on my charts always. And I see a swing right here that has barely been taken out, but you can almost count on the fact that they will do this. They'll thrust up, they'll pull back, and this is our swing that would be our stop. See how it's hitting that? Would that be a good area if you weren't in a trade to pop in a little box, to give an example? There's your support right there. It should hold. See, if you draw on your charts, you'll see it. You have 4 trends on your chart. See your high, your low, your higher high. Same low. See what it's doing, right? It's stair-stepping. And that's the whole key to trading, is stair-stepping. I mean, would I be afraid to have even hit an extra couple? Probably at 4's enough, okay? But now let's see if we're not right again, though. Let's see if we can draw on our charts. And what we're going to do, okay, we had a thrust up. We checked this one. So we haven't checked this one yet, right? So let's see if we get a thrust up and a pullback and check this one here, or even this one here. See the swings? This one right here and this one right here. So let's see if we get one of them. And if they go higher, do you think they won't come back and kiss it? I'll just about bet they will. Because if you've been watching your charts a long time, you're going to see them do this all the time. Watch this. I'll speed it up. Now, if they break micro, see they broke micro. Notice that power meter went red. Where do you think they're coming down to? Anybody? If you draw on your charts, you'll know. Okay, let's see. They did check this one. See it? Take that off the table because they already checked it. See it right there? They haven't checked this one right here, and they haven't checked this one right here. Like so, okay? So we checked this one, popped up. What's the team think? You got to think quick. What do you think? We just went a total of 5. Everybody see why I did that? It came perfectly down and kissed my swing, and that's my identified secondary swing. And there you go. And by the way, that trade we called in the room this morning, live and in color. So with the same thing that we just talked about, what do you think will happen on this chart? Let's get these out of the way. Normally you're going to take some profit, but I'm going to try to show you some ways to see on your charts what's coming next. Okay, you have a high, low, higher, high. So this is definitely your identified swing. They would have to take this out to head down. Everybody sees that, right? Okay, so if they thrust up above here, wouldn't they have to pretty much come back and kiss it? What says the team? You want to see? I'll fast forward it. See there? Did it kiss the area that we talked about? And the answer is yes. See how perfectly those do that? Now, do they do it to the tick? No. And unfortunately, you're not going to really see that too often where they do it to the tick. I sped that up to like 500 times just to show you that that's what they do. They come back and they kiss. Okay? Now, if they go running like crazy, you've got to see that. Let's pretend that you're not even in this trade yet. And you see something like this happen, you go, whoa, wait a minute, this is a real thrust. Well, let's turn on bar close. And if this bar closes up, let's just pretend we're not in anything yet. This is what I call a very risky trade, but it's only risky if you let it go back against you. Okay? Now your swing is right here. You could put your stop right under here. That's still a little bit of a risk though, right? Okay, I like to watch even the next bar, see what it's going to do. Let's see if it, now see it's coming back against us a little bit. See how they do on little breakouts? It has to hold this right here. That's our micro swing. Is it going to hold it there? Well, we don't know, but more than likely it's going to come right there and kiss. So I'm going to go ahead and give it just a little bit more wiggle room right there because that should kiss and bounce. But that's what will happen to you if you chase trades. See that? Anybody ever notice that if you chase a trade, that's exactly what it's going to do to you. That's why we don't recommend chasing trades. Unless if this bar would have closed up, this bar also had to close up. The next one had to close up. And you never would have come back in that box. Because see, you're feeling heat if you take a thrust type trade. Now, will this trade work out? Well, probably because the market went crazy today. But you see what I'm getting at? You're in the red right now. Okay? That's why we don't recommend taking thrust type trades unless if you do take them, don't let it go back against you. Okay? To give an example, let's just see if we can get a lightning trade just real quick. Let's look to the left to trade the right. We got a little swing right across here. That's not a swing technically, but it did have a bar down and a bar up. So let's just say if I was to get in, let's just pretend you're not in anything just yet. I'd like for it to come back down to 52, if at all possible. See if it will, or if it breaks that line, I'm going to take it either way. But I'm not going to let it come back against me. Everybody see why? Hadn't broke our line just yet. Now, if it comes back to 52, I'm just going to hit the button. Unless it breaks what we call micro. If this turns red, all bets are off. Because if it breaks micro, what's it going to do? It's going to come down here. Okay? Let's look to the left to trade the right and see if we can figure out where it's coming. Let's see, we have a high, we have a low, like an ABC, so to speak. There's our new medium swing instead of here. See how that would have worked, by the way? See, if you do a trade like I just called, see how it totally went your direction? Don't let it go back against you. Okay? Now that's a very shallow retracement trade. That's a risky trade. But notice the one we took, it came immediately back against us. So couldn't you just have said, you know what, I'll give my broker $8 rather than giving up 100? You see what I mean? So in other words, if it does break, like your little consolidation area, don't let it go back against you. And that turned out to be a decent trade because you've already got a scalp. See there? Okay? Because this thing literally went up like crazy. Okay? But what I'm going to show you, even if you miss a good trade, I want to show you how to see the area that it should pull back to. Let's go ahead and let this thing just go like crazy because I know it did this morning. It was a monster. By the way, if this does above that little swing, you could also take it like that. That's above the swing. I'll go ahead and let that ride. There's your new lightning swing. It's coming back to support. Fast little rascal. There's your swing right there that's actually identified right here where my cursor's at. But I'm feeling a little bit of heat, aren't I? Watch and see if it holds that line. It did. I'm going to take 2 more if it doesn't stop me out. See why? It came right down to support and bounced off of it. Okay, now what if you missed this trade that we're in right now? Okay, I think we just lost. No, we didn't. We got to get this out of the way. Now let me show you how to stay in a trade like this, by the way, because we didn't call this trade out this morning until it literally just went to the moon. If anybody remembers, and watch lightning and see if you don't see exactly what I've been talking about all night. There's your identified swing. Not identified yet, is it? Right here? Not identified yet. Identified. Everybody see that? That's your identified micro swing. Close above, it's going to have another one. There's your identified micro swing. Everybody see that? How you can stay in a trade? What'd that go? All the way up to 76? Mercy. Thing's on fire, isn't it? Where's your identified swing? It's all the way down here. Where's your identified swing trying to be? It's trying to be right here. See there, it just did. High, low, higher, high. Is this a swing yet? Nope, this might be. See there? But you know, we got tools for that too, by the way. What if we just said, you know what? I'll only get out of this if PM2 goes short. And I just missed it because it already went red, so I'm going to turn it off. It just hit my line. That's my identified swing. That's my identified swing. See where my identified swing is, just the way I've been teaching it? Right at that line. Where's the identified swing now? It's the same spot. It went up a little higher, but usually when I get the same one, I usually pull it back to the regular one. See, because when they're going sideways like this, you got to really get your identified swing. Now it's right here. See it? High, low, higher, high. Identified swing. Holding. What do you think? It held. See there? Is it going to hold? We're going to find out. No, it didn't hold. Now, we got out of this trade here this morning, but guess what? We got right back in right here. See how it bounced right above that line? And where's your identified swing? It's right here. 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 Everybody see that? And couldn't you just have your stop just under your identified swing? And there you just got taken out. Everybody see that? Identified swing all the way. You got taken out here. You got back in. Can you very possibly get back in again? Well, let's look at this. When you break micro, you go down and check medium. Okay. So it looks like it's already bouncing off a medium. Now I got this going like, well, I've only got it going 10 times. NASDAQ just flat moves, doesn't it? And we already missed a trade. That's okay. Everybody see it? We called this trade in the room too. We boxed it in right down here. And a lot of our people got that trade too. Now, real quick, looking at your chart, where's your identified swing? On our micro, we know, right? But what about our medium? It's right down here. Everybody sees that, right? Now, if this was to decide to go down, wouldn't it take out what we call medium? Now, I'm not going to trade anymore on this, but I want to show you something just so you see it. That's a higher low. Okay, with a higher low, they should take this out. You could probably even fire a trade because it's obviously bouncing off of mid-band so far, right? And I'd put a pretty tight stop because this is looking pretty sloppy. Put it right underneath my identified swing right there. This is my identified swing here in a minute, maybe. Not yet. Not yet still, right? This is your identified swing right there at 682.50. And it just took you out. No big deal, right? Okay, now let's look to the left to trade the right to see if we can see where this thing's going. Okay, now they've broken what we consider to be our medium swing, just barely. Everybody see that? Okay, so now let's look and see. We've got a high, we have a low, we have a lower high. So where's our identified medium swing? It's all the way down here. Now, if they don't take this out right down here, it is still, by my definition of a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high on this trend, is actually still up. Now, even though this is saying red right here, okay, if this doesn't take this out, now we had already closed the room here, but I want to show you something here. Let's just fast forward this. See that swing? See that swing hold? Coming down again to check it. Higher low again. Resistance right there. Sideways, right? But watch and see if this ever changed trends all morning. That's all I recorded, it looks like. Anybody have the chart from later on? Because I'll just about bet you that this actually ended up holding this and going up and taking even this out. Anybody have that? Let's go to the actual chart and see. Just curious on that. And then we'll go ahead and wrap here in just a minute. Does everybody see how to trade by looking to the left to trade the right? Oh, and absolutely, this was in 500 times, so we weren't really trading this. But could you trade this? Yes. Okay. If you were looking at longs only, you'd be buying these predictors. And if you bought, for instance, one, you got a 10 tick. This one might have gotten 7 or 8 ticks. That one probably didn't get anything. That one got quite a bit. That one got some, and that one got some. this one here would have gotten stopped out and you haven't gotten another one since. So that would have been some decent trading in there. Okay, but let me show you what I've been talking about all night, and then we're going to wrap it up. I'm going to get rid of market replay, and I'm going to go into an actual account. Just one sec. Because this will finish up the day, because it obviously will show through tonight and everything. But let's let it go ahead and load. Let's see if anybody has a question too. Let's see, Lewis says, when you look left, are you looking at the start of the instrument? Oh, you already asked that earlier. Just a second. Let's see. Can you go over this again, please? On which one? Mindy, you were asking? That's really weird. Our question log literally locked up at like, on which one did you want me to go over again? Yeah, the one thing that if you keep in mind, as long as you can tell for sure that you've got an uptrend by looking left to trade the right, I'd be real careful taking shorts against it. Bear with it just a second. That stupid NQ's chart's still loading. There it is. Bear with me a second. It's still loading. I thought it was finished, but give me just one second and we're going to look and see. No, it's still loading. Okay, here it is right here. Now remember we said this was our low right here. Remember we had our line drawn on our chart just a minute ago. See, couldn't you have bought that down there? That's what I did on gold this morning. I just looked to the left to trade the right, and I bought gold way down here. And it was the same type of trade like this, but look what this did. See there? Was there any reason really to go short on this chart? And the answer is really no. Because what if you would have boxed it in? Let's say you would have boxed it in here, and you would have gotten a long, right? But not much of a long. What if you would have boxed it in here? That would have given you a little short down to the bottom, right? Boxing it in. But then what if you actually shorted here at predictor when your overall trend is up? Because to me, the overall trend is still up when I have a secondary medium swing in like this. Because that's what they do. If they break medium, they'll go down and check these secondary mediums. Same way they do on the micros. Okay? Now notice what it's doing right now. Is this actually high, low, higher, high, right? This is what I consider to be like a secondary swing here. They're barely taking it out. This is a medium swing. Okay? So if you draw on your charts, you have a high, low, higher, low, higher, high. Is that actually taking this swing out as we speak? And the answer is no. See, it bounced off of it. So even though this changed to red, was this actually a short? Not really, because you just came down and checked support. Medium lightning swing. Now, keep in mind that when this thrust down and checked this, and it came up and made a lower high and you had a phantom trade, could you have shorted this? Yes. But keep in mind, until it takes this line out, you're not really heading down. To me, on this chart, unless we take this out, somewhat like this, come up and kiss midband and roll over, this is not really a short, because all you're doing is stair stepping up, and now you're retracing, but now you're getting higher lows. You're even getting a little higher high. Your target's basically right through here, which they're trying to hit. Okay? But what it takes to change these to red is not that much, because we have to be able to get in, trends fairly quickly. Okay? Notice that this didn't change to red right through here. Okay? You still had, and you could clearly see that you had a swing that was identified right down there. Okay? Well, then it changed to red right here. See your red background? Okay? But until it takes out that swing, it's still not a downtrend. Okay? Just like when we started talking about very first thing this morning, when we were looking at the overall, deciding what to do on our trades, wasn't it? Remember this? This was at 8:30 right here, and you pretty much had just like a fairly large range, a high, a low, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. Will they take them out a little bit at the open? Yes. But be careful if the overall trend is up, because you'll end up leaving something like that on the table. Because we called that trade. We called this trade right through here on this pullback. And we had closed the room by this area right here. Okay? Let's see, I've been watching the Lightning 3 background. It's pretty good for keeping up with the trend. Peter, I like that too, because one thing to keep in mind on what Peter's talking about, and I'll just take 1 second to kind of show that. This is a little faster at changing than our Lightning background. What you can do to put the Lightning background on is get rid of the old background, which is up here, bar color background right here. Remove it. And then what you want to do is you want to go with like Lightning 3 background, and you just tell it to show the background. And let's see here, gradient multiplier, line width, display background trend. And we've got greens and reds. That looks good to go. Let's just go ahead and display the background and give it a second and we'll see it. Did everybody get something out of this tonight? Rather than just getting little old 5-tick scalps and stuff, to stay with the overall trend and watch, if they break micros, they come back down and they check those medium swings. This is something that I liked also. We probably ought to go to this chart actually. It's a little bit dark for the room, but I could change the luminosity of it. But see what this is showing right here? This is Lightning 3. And what it's showing is when this goes to lighter green, a darker green, a darker green, even a darker green, and even a darker green. Then you had your red, okay? Because it took this swing out right here, right? And yes, you could have shorted that. But what does it take to change it back to green again? Well, it's going to have to break. See how it's green again? And then darker green, darker green, darker green, darker green, and then it's pink again, and then green again, and then pink again, and then green again. That's what Peter's talking about there. And usually what's amazing, once you get this darker background here, that's usually when they pull back. I've watched that several times where you have the light, light, darker, 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 and then this real dark one. That's usually when they're pretty much done. And a lot of times you can actually even draw into your swings. We didn't go over a lot of that tonight, and we won't tonight. But see that thrust retrace trend line break. How do you get the multiple green shades, Dan? You just go to your indicator, your Lightning 3 indicator, and you got to turn off your other background. Okay? But then turn this one on. See where it says display background trend true? You just turn it on. And you can even tell it if you want it to close plus 10 ticks as far as that goes. But keep in mind 10 ticks isn't a lot, so that probably would have changed even if you put it at 12 ticks. Okay? But usually what I do is just use the 4 range with 15 swing strength and then do the display background trend, if you want to use that background. But I do like the fact that usually when it gets to this darker color, it's pretty much done. And that usually works. Because what it's doing, it's stair-stepping. Thrust retrace, draws a background, 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 thrust retrace, draws a background. And when you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you're pretty much done. Yeah, it's kind of like seeing the Elliott waves, Peter. That's what you're really doing, and that's the way I purposely programmed it with the programmer, was I told him I wanted to see thrust retraces, thrust retrace, and change the shade. We don't show this in the room because, to me, that's a little bit of a dark background. But you can change the opacity on it. All right. Thanks, everyone, for coming. Did I answer everybody's questions? Did you learn something tonight? Absolutely. Like I said, keep in mind that you can still short against these trends, with just power meter 1 or 2, okay, or stealth. See where stealth turned red right here? Could you have shorted that and gotten a nice 10 tick trade? Yes. Could you have gone long here with this stealth? Yes. Could you have gone long here with this stealth? Yes. So, there's some decent trades in through here, even if you just simply watch for stealth even. All right. Thanks everybody for coming. We'll do everything tomorrow like we always do and call the trades. And if you were in the room this morning, doggone good and well, we nailed this trade right here, this trade right here, and even this one right here. And they were perfect retracements in the mid-band. All right, we'll see everybody tomorrow morning. Thanks. Oh, let's see. Lewis, did I miss your last question? You can ask me in the morning then, if that's okay. All right, thanks everyone. We'll see you in the morning. Bye now.